It's another one of those end of the weeks. It's been an interestingly strange week with weather and holiday and all kinds of stuff around the world. And my God, if you were down in beautiful, usually sunny Florida, a storm was a brewing and it ripped through Florida and it just caused unbelievable damage to people in Florida. But Stuart, this is a segue into how our political systems work, that there are storms brewing in places that we don't even realize. And it causes irreparable damage. And just this week, we saw proof of how one person claiming to be an expert, Stuart, can cause irreparable damage. Stuart, you've wanted to let go for a while. Go.
Okay, thank you, David. All right, guys, it's Friday, but I want to start off by saying to all my non-heterosexual friends, I love you. This is nothing personal because everything I'm about to say, I'm almost positive you're going to agree with me. However, any of my other friends that just want to find themselves a hater and want to latch onto something that I say, well, fuck you because you're being a moron. Recently, a Planned Parenthood doctor, yes, doctor, not a quack doctor, but maybe the biggest quack of all, in a House hearing Thursday, right? This is last week, that men can get pregnant and have babies.
Whoa,
Now, I
say that
don't
again?
know about,
Say that again?
yeah, a Planned Parenthood doctor told the House hearing on Thursday that men can get pregnant and have babies. David, I saw this. I sent this to you. I lost my fucking mind. Let me continue. Men can have pregnancies, especially trans men, said Dr. Bhavik Kumar, a medical director for primary and trans care at Planned Parenthood in the Gulf Coast. Now, I want just to say this again. A guy that's a doctor that works for Planned Parenthood says, and I quote, in a congressional hearing, men can get pregnant. Now, Kumar also went on to testify to the Oversight Committee, right? To say that, restricting of abortions can harm patients. Okay, stop. Let's just take the first part of the conversation. You're born a man, you're born a woman biologically. I don't give a flying fuck if you think you're a dog, a cat, a chicken, a horse. You're nuts, but okay, I don't really care. Doesn't affect my life. Just don't be a chicken and make that rooster noise around me because I'm just going to tell you to shut up. The world has gone nuts in the United States where the importance of me having to accept you because you think you're a fucking dog is a moronic position, and the world has gone upside down. The Democrats are loving the chaos. We must stand for all these people that think they are something that they're not. Stop. Being gay has nothing to do with anything. Being lesbian has nothing to do with anything that I'm talking about. This is gross insanity where if you are a trans person, if you are a gay person, or if you're a lesbian person, or any of those other letters that follow, and if you think a man can become pregnant, you are as fucked up as everyone else on the planet. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. I don't think David does either. We want you to be happy. But there are limits to normalcy, okay? You are a human being. You are born biologically a man or a woman. You can physically alter your body to do whatever the hell you want. It's your freedom to do so. But there are limits to normalcy. And you have crossed the line. When a Planned Parenthood doctor says men can get pregnant, and he goes on, right? The difference is, let me get this quote because I don't want to fuck this up, right? This guy goes on and says, the question by Representative Andrew Clyde from Georgia, who interrupted Kumar as he was somebody with a uterus may have the capability of becoming pregnant, whether they're a woman or a man. Wait a minute. A uterus is what a woman biologically has. Now, did the guy misspeak woman and said man? No. You heard me correct. For every woman out there that has a uterus, that every guy would never survive a monthly menstrual cycle or a pregnancy, fuck you, this doctor from Planned Parenthood. Because if you're going to go out there and tell people that men can have pregnant, I mean, this is just psychologically, morally, and physically just fucking wrong. I've had enough. I've had enough. You are fucking up our kids with this gender neutrality, this gender identification with children that have no fucking idea. Clyde rejects the answer and says basically biologically holds that men and women have different chromosomes. They're two different sexes. Your mental sex and your physical sense are two separate things, right? Which is why we've come to a society that says, hey man, you think you're gay? Thumbs up. Enjoy yourself. We don't care. We're happy you found happiness, but you're a man or you're a woman. And if you physically want to mutilate your body because you feel that strongly about how you feel and not how you are, then I gotta tell you, okay too. But to get out there and say that a man can be pregnant is fucked up. I'm sorry, I've had enough. Okay? This has gone too far. And if you think I'm unsensitive, well, you know what, or insensitive, you're right, I am. Because you know what, when you have people that say a fetal heartbeat can be heard at 6 weeks of pregnancy, and the Democratic Stacey Abrams candidate says, no, that's a manufactured sound. Yes, in theory it is, but it's a pregnancy. It's living. I'm not pro-life, pro-choice. I'm pro whatever the hell you want because I can't be pregnant. I don't care. It's a woman's right to choose. And if she doesn't like the state that she's in because she's been limited by her rights, move. You don't like it in the United States? Move. China's looking for people. Argentina's looking for people. Cuba's moving. Russia would love to have you. But in the United States of America, every state has the right to make its choices. And if that's the choice of the whole, it's a republic. Fuck you. Enough. Oh, I'm insensitive to women's rights. I don't get it. I get it. The rights of the state are the rights of the state. Those are the laws of the land. You don't like the laws of this land, go to that land. There's not enough people in this land to obey you, then that's just the way it is. Because that's the way the laws of this country operate. You know what? The laws in Russia ain't so good either. Because you know what? If you choose to say something against the head named Putin, you're going to be disappeared, end up in the goulash, end up in Siberia, or end up in a mass grave, right? But this guy basically said that a man can be pregnant. Why are we funding Planned Parenthood? Why are we going on and giving these people federal tax dollars to fuck up our children and fuck up society? I don't get what the advantage to anything is. They are almost a for-profit entity that makes money and pays its directors hundreds upon hundreds, if not millions of dollars for their centers to provide pregnancy services. Okay. Pregnancy services are important. But to tell people that men can be pregnant is fucking insane. David, I can't take it anymore.
Well,
I
yeah,
ranted
so,
for
yeah,
two
you just ranted for the entire time. But look,
Yeah, my blood pressure is going.
I
It's
know, but
going.
let me just stress one thing for you. And like, I don't agree necessarily with some of the things you just said, but let me just put it out there for one thing in particular. Okay, if I identify as a man or if I identify as a woman, that's that's how I feel. But I cannot change science in terms of physiology. And you said it, uterus is going to be in certain individuals. To say that men can get pregnant is twisting words. This is what I don't like. Okay, the when he was asked to define a biological male, he refused. This is a political statement, not a scientific statement. This is the frustration of how some folks on the left like to manipulate fact. Okay, we know, and as much as I try, I cannot get pregnant, Stuart. It's just not in my physiology, does not have that. So to have and this is why we're confusing society. It's like when you put a doctor who should be trained, should understand that, but answers things in a political matter, not a scientific matter. No wonder people don't understand it. No wonder there is greater confusion. And no wonder, the Stacey Abrams in this world gets away with making absolutely false remarks. Now, for this person to stand there, and I'm going to be respectful because I'm not going to, derogate, this person. I don't want to make a comment about this individual, but to me, this is not about sexuality, Stuart. This is where I think you went wrong. This is nothing to do with sexuality. The LGBTQ community here is not yelling and screaming. The problem with this hearing was related to abortion rights. And the question was, like, if this is about women's rights, why are you talking about men getting pregnant here? Like, what's the relationship here? Okay? And this is the political game I'm talking about. This is not about, he goes, and when he says, I want to answer the question about men and heartbeats and whatever, his answer is, well, look, it's in medicine, it's complex. You know what? I know people who do that. When they don't want to answer the question, they insult you by saying stuff like, it's complex or it's a long story. Screw you. You're in a goddamn hearing. You have to answer the question. When you answer stuff like that, to me, you lose all sense of credibility, Stuart. This is where I have my problem. This is about playing games, not about, look, as far as I'm concerned, if we're talking about Roe v. Wade, and we're talking about women's rights to choose and all that stuff, and a doctor stands there and says, men can get pregnant, it's complex, heartbeats, blah, blah, blah. Come on. You are clearly proving your political stance is regardless of what is presented from a scientific fact, all you want to do is push your agenda. I have no respect.
David, again, you didn't tell me or anyone what you didn't agree with in my
Stuart,
rant.
what I don't agree with you, and you talk about body mutilation and all that. No. Look, I don't agree with what you just said there, but the purpose of this conversation was not to talk about, whether you agree with.
Well, I don't care.
Okay,
I don't
no,
care.
My point
you
is.
Care?
No, my point. Listen, Stuart, it's not about. Look, it's not about caring. I got to respect. If somebody wants to make a choice about their body, then
Yeah, I don't
I can
care.
respect
Good
it.
for you.
But my issue here, though, is when a doctor stands there, and there are all kinds of doctors, but when a doctor stands there and says statements like that, and he's in Planned Parenthood, which is supposedly as you said, a heavily funded, supposedly well-reputed, organization, which I challenge in a whole other way. But you stand there in a congressional hearing, and then you make a political statement. You're out. I'm out. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear from you anymore. Okay, you're disqualified. You're just messing with politics to get your agenda passed. If you want to get abortion rights in and saying stuff like, oh no, we cannot define the heartbeat like Stacey Abrams says, or we cannot make comments, we say comments that men can get pregnant. Get out of here.
Dave, it's Friday.
Yep.
I took up most of the time. Yep. I apologize for my profanity. And if I offended you,
I had a feeling you were kind of upset.
I'm just going to say, David, say goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves all a wonderful weekend. We'll catch you Monday.